Hello YouTube. Today I wanted to do a quick little video explaining the difference between an Apple TV, an Android box, and a Chromecast. You've probably heard about some of these media systems these days. They're getting really popular. Cable TV isn't getting any cheaper, and these are awesome ways to broadcast and stream things often from your cell phones. There's a lot that can be done here. While all of these things might not completely replace your cable, they will definitely enhance your television set in different ways. There's some advantages and disadvantages to each. And having used all three of these, I'll tell you a little difference. Okay, so let's just get right into it, YouTube. Here we go. So what we have here is the third generation Apple TV. It's pretty solid. It's got a bit of weight to it. Takes HDMI, takes digital audio, and you got room there for your network port. And trust me, with this stuff, you want to use a network port. Wi-Fi isn't as good as hardwire for anything yet. The next Wi-Fi title is AC, and AC will be much better than N that we have now. And then Wi-Fi might be perfect, but right now, if you want a good media center, you want to plug one of these in. You want your network cable, your hardwire. And then you got your standard non-ground power right there. Really nice little thing. This third generation goes for 89 bucks Canadian. And has a nice little remote. Having a remote is really nice with media centers for obvious reasons. You can also use an app on your iPhone or your iPad or the iTouch, and you can control it through there. Now, it should be known that the third generation Apple TV doesn't have any onboard storage, meaning if you want to play with anything, you're going to have to stream it online. And that's not a big thing for most people, but other people really didn't like this fact. So what Apple went ahead and did was made the fourth generation. So the fourth generation 32 gigabyte model is $200. And the 64 gigabyte model is $269. Of course, once again, that's Canadian. And with that, you can just automatically download anything you want. If you know how to jailbreak your Apple TV, you can also put Kodi on it. And if you put Kodi on it, then you don't need an Android box, because that's the only point of having an Android box. Kodi! So with Apple TV, you can legitimately purchase movies. You can watch the movies that you've already purchased over the Apple Store network. The Big Lebowski, I got this one from a digital download, and it keeps it here. It saves it. I can load it up any place that I go. You get digital downloads when you buy the DVD or Blu-ray sometime. Okay, and you also got you got a lot of nice things. You got Netflix. You got Crackle. You got YouTube, TED Talks, good stuff. This is definitely good for enhancing your system, but again, it won't replace cable. It should also be noted that you can cast things from your iPad, for example, to your Apple TV. I'm only holding this thing upside down so you don't see the horrible crack I got. Oh no! Anyways, here we go. You can play it from here, and it'll play off there. Now, this is just a monitor with HDMI, or otherwise you would be able to hear the audio going on in the background. And yeah, most things you can pull up on an iPad, you can cast to a television, so that would be good for many reasons. There's lots of things you can cast with this, but it is somewhat limited. But still, casting is awesome. This is a Google Chromecast, second generation. Comes with a HDMI port, a very, very interesting, very small device, and it plugs in. It gets its power from a USB mini. You can plug it into your TV, you can plug it into here for power, and then once you have that running, you have to connect this. There is no remote. You have to connect this puppy to your Wi-Fi with your cell phone. If you do not have a cell phone, if you do not have an Android cell phone, this might be pretty much worthless. There's probably There's probably ways of doing this with Apple, but I'm more familiar with using my Apple. But anyways, if you don't have one of those two smartphones, I wouldn't even bother picking this thing up. There's no remote. This is what you get when you buy the package, but its price is very affordable. I believe I picked this up for $60. Now for this, we are going to need to go to the online store and download the Google Chromecast app to get this set up. Now, Chromecast is mainly just used to cast things from a tablet, from a phone. There's not much it can do on its own, but it's definitely worth the money. It's definitely an interesting tool. So here I have a video on YouTube, just to give an example of some of the things you can do. You come up here, you press this button to cast. And then I'm casting that video from my tablet, from my smartphone. Now, unfortunately, this system doesn't have a hard wire built into it, a network cable. You're only going to be on Wi-Fi, so your Wi-Fi has to be pretty good if you're going to watch full 1080p things. Netflix is good to watch 1080p things on here. I can't really think of a whole lot of other things, but this is going to somewhat drain the battery on your phone. You need a phone to use it. And yeah, really cool for the money, but not a whole lot of things you can do with it right now. Next up, we have the Android box. Now, I know you're looking at this thinking, that is not an Android box, that's a tablet with a bunch of stickers on it. And yes, you would be absolutely right, this is a tablet with a bunch of stickers on it, but it has the Android operating system, and that is a precursor to the Android box. The Android box is using the same operating system as Android cell phones do. They use various versions of the operating system. The thing about the Android operating system is it's absolutely free to use. It's open source, so you get producers all over the place throwing Android into all kinds of crazy things because they can do it license free. The source is open. They can go and do pretty much what they want. So I'm just using this tablet to represent an Android box. Android boxes can typically be bought for $50, but getting free TV on these things is not particularly easy. If you go out and you buy an Android box, you want to make sure that you buy one that has support, that has a number that you can call. Because if you don't set these things up right, or if something changes, if one of your distribution people get kicked offline, then you have to go in and set things up again. So this might not be the best thing to give to your grandpa you see once every 3 years, because he's going to be calling you up and asking you to get things going for you again. These are usually not the greatest quality, but I've had a lot of people use cheap ones and not have too many complaints. So what we have here is the Kodi box. Ultimately, what I'm using is a Kodi box. The only difference between this tablet and a Kodi box is this tablet has a touch screen on it. So we'll just go to the Kodi app, which hopefully is about the only thing you get shipped with your Android box, should you decide to get one. And anyways, this is a good way to connect to streams of video from all over the place. So we're in videos, add-ons. Now this isn't the easiest thing to do for everyone. Not everybody can do it. You kind of have to be a little techno savvy to understand this. Now this is a repro called Exodus, and I love it. It's got all the stuff. This is all very new stuff. Now it's not all the best quality. It's not always the most stable, but it's great for the price. Usually a Kodi box about $50 to $100. And yeah. So this isn't the kind of thing that you want to be given to a 50-year-old, for example. Someone who doesn't know anything about computers. You wouldn't give this to your grandpa that you talk to twice a year, because odds are one of the repositories is going to go down, and then you're going to have to get online and drive your butt over there and set things up for him again. But for the price, you know, it's awesome.
If you got any questions or comments or think I missed anything, feel free to leave a comment.